Hey guys, good afternoon everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Miss JD for our weekend episode of our daily stock market insights. And if you have not watched my video yesterday, I talked about Dito. Specific to Dito, I was talking a lot and I didn't realize my discussion reached already 20 minutes, so I had to cut it because I don't want to bore you guys, and I don't want to create a video that's too long. So this time around I am recording the remaining stocks that I know you guys have also a position in. So I'll go ahead and cover the most trending stocks, of course, from here. Right, and thank you to those, by the way, who commented and said thank you for my insights. If this is your first time to watch our video, I'm inviting you guys to hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell, because I am doing this every single day, and I also review those stocks you are requesting. Okay, in the meantime, just hang in there. I will go through the major stocks that we have here. Let's see if I will be able to finish a lot in the next 20 minutes. Okay, so I also talked about the index very briefly in the previous video, and we're currently still on the sideways movement. So I'm going to go ahead and deep dive into each one, because this is just a collective representation of the stocks in the index, or in the index, but we have to go through each one to really understand how our individual stocks are performing. Okay, so let's continue with MRC. MRC, actually, from this day, that was already the start of its bullish movement. There were extreme days where you had this one was a ceiling play, and it extended up to the next day, and some stabilization happened, but all throughout, the sentiment is already in an uptrend. Upward movement, as you can see. By the way, I'm using a Bollinger Band for my main indicators here. So let us see if it will continue to move higher and higher as we progress. Right now, well, technically, it is already at the overbought level, but we still are not sure if we are going to have a pullback first before it continues to move higher. Maybe what you can use here is that probably this stock, you can use the two lines that I've plotted here that will currently act as our resistance. In the meantime, especially because this stock is not part of the index, this is a speculation, right? The speculative stock. So I suggest you be on the more conservative side. Otherwise, you can even wait for it to break out. Why am I saying that you can wait for a breakout? Because the stock has also dropped significantly, and the uptrend is starting to manifest at the moment. But overall, my take on this stock is try to wait for that pullback to happen first before you get in. Probably around, because this was reached previously. You have a resistance right here. Let us see, though, if it will go back to that level before you can probably add more volume. Okay, so we have officially broken out of that resistance, and as you all know, this is just my basic theory, as always. So if this was your resistance previously, okay, normally it goes up and then it revisits that previous resistance, and it will create a support right there. Something to this effect. This used to be a resistance, and then when it broke out of that, it revisited, and now it broke the next resistance level again. Okay, so that is my theory. Try to wait for a pullback to happen. Don't rush, because the market will just go up and down. What's important is you are able to get in at a perfect entry. So 0.2698 or 0.27 would be a much better entry price compared to the 0.33. Although we see a lot of potential, even though we're already in the overbought, there could still be a prolonged time or an extended period of time in the overbought level. But a pullback could make it healthier, bringing it at a much healthier level in the RSI. So 0.2698, so that's our support. Now, on the other hand, is also Well, trying to recover, starting to move higher, but I'm plotting a resistance, short-term resistance at this level. Yeah, at that area, 5.04. That's the nearest resistance, 5.12 to 5.4. Okay, because if you are to look back right here, let's use a weekly chart. Okay. Oh, in the weekly chart, in fact, it's right here. The area where it is at right now could already act as a resistance. Let us see if it will continue to break out of that. Okay, it's something to watch out for. This could act as a resistance because there are prior points here that supported that. So two things. Okay, wait for it to pull back if you want to get in, or wait for it to do a breakout. Overall, you still have a lot of potential for this stock because we're still at cheap level. At one point here, look at that, it reached almost 20 peso area. So just take note of these key levels at the moment. Um, Interesting that a part of the body of the candlestick is trying to break out of the 477 level, but I would have to say between it breaking out and this stock doing a pullback, um, my analysis would say that I am more into the pullback because as we move higher, notice the decline in volume. The decline in volume is right here. So as you move higher, less and less are starting to show some interest at this point. So I'm thinking it, and it's much healthier if it does a pullback. For those people who are already in there, overall in the long term, it might take a few weeks or even months that it'll go back to the 630 level. But for now, anywhere from here, ideally very near 3.66, that's our ideal picture. That's a much better entry price there. BPI, it's taking a little while. Hope you guys are doing your homework. I know it's going to be another week full of action next week. Let's see if the telco rally will still continue. I noticed the mining industry is also starting to show some bullish movements in the past few days. Okay, BPI still doing sideways, but more on the negative side, the more bearish at this point because we again crossed the MA20 line of our Bollinger Band. So there's a possibility that it will revisit the previous support. And what we can do right after that is really observe the support area. The thing here is it should not break, otherwise you might create a lower low. Okay, right now we currently had a lower high. So what's scary here if it does a lower low, and then most likely it will continue to do its downtrend if that happens. So let's see if it will just balance out here at the previous support and bounce right at that level. If that gets broken, so brace yourself for a downtrend again. Okay, because if you're going to do a much longer time frame here, it's still respecting a downtrend at the moment, right? So watch out for 63.86. I'm not promising that it will automatically bounce there, but it's a support area, possible support area, and let's see if it'll respect that level and create a bounce at that area. Let's talk about MPI. I think it's about to enter a profit-taking stage. This is a doji that we have here, and most likely it is currently seated at a resistance. Let's find out. Not yet, but very near. See this? This could be a possible area, but if you go to the daily chart, Let's see if there's a chance for it to move a little higher. Um, there could be, but the fact that we have a doji at this point, it's really, we should start thinking of locking in some profit. At any time the market gives you a chance between 4.04 and 4.26 and the volume starts to decline, then that's something you need to also consider. But it's up to you, guys. The resistance that I see is already very near, so you have to closely monitor this if you are only trading the stock and if you are already profitable. At this point, I'd say this is not an entry. This is rather a profit taking stage. Okay, so don't be a victim of FOMO. Find the support and the resistance, and ideally we want to enter at a support area, not the resistance area. You enter at a resistance area, that's a FOMO stage. Sometimes if the stock is in an uptrend, and let's say overall you are still at a cheaper level, then probably you can do a breakout play in that scenario. Okay, so at this point 4.26, if you are if you want to seek confirmation, wait for it to pull back around 381. Probably that's a much better entry price. Or if you want, you can do a momentum play, which you have to wait first for the stock price to reach or end higher than 4.26. Let's talk about ABS. ABS at this point, okay, so this used to be the normal range of its price before their license got terminated, right? So at this point, it tried to reach that, and there was already a rejection. So be extra careful because and also you are at the over bought level. So at this point, as it price moves higher, your volume is also declining, and then we ended at a red candlestick. That means there's weakness happening at this point. So if you are already profitable, guys, lock in profit, and if you want 50% or 30% of it, you can let it ride the succeeding waves. But if you can lock in some profit, and then it drops, let's say around this 1050 area or 1039 area, then you can just buy again. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That way you are already profitable, and then with your profit you buy it at a lower level. That means you can add more volume from the profit you initially took. Okay, so if before you were only able to let's say have 1,000 shares, if you're able to haggle, baking in the profit price, then you will be able to probably buy 1,200 or 1,300 shares. Okay, so it's not the end of the game here. I know they have some promising future ahead, considering that they have partnered with, if I'm not mistaken, Channel 11. I don't know the name of the cable company there, but they will be supplying content, or they will air some of their shows in that frequency. So it's not yet the end for ABS, definitely. They have some workarounds. They have innovations that they might be able to implement. Okay, so that's another good sign there. ICT is next. ICT still in an uptrend at the moment. If you're to plot this, and if you want to follow this support in an ascending, I don't know the term, but definitely when I see a stock moving higher and higher, and it's in an uptrend, you just have to take a look at the swings. Like for each time it bounces, does the price reach a higher high? So a higher high means when it bounces, for instance, this one, it created that, right? It bounced and then it dropped. Now the drop here is much higher than the previous drop over here. You see that? And then when it goes higher, the high now becomes a higher high. So now you have an uptrend. And at this point, ICT is respecting that. Okay? So this one too, it created a higher high. But sometimes there's what you call in an Elliott wave, there are up to 5 levels. So if this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. And I don't know, this part could be your last point before it breaks down. Yeah. So just be extra careful. At this point, it is still respecting that. Probably you can wait for it to break out of that support area after you create that trend line over there. So if it breaks, then that's your trigger. Take some profit. Overall, if you are to look at it, let's say you are an investor, how far are we from the previous high? Oh, this is their previous high, the peak. So we're already halfway there. Okay, so be extra careful that you. This could already mean probably. Let me see. Because you have a resistance here, a support. I mean, so that could already mean that we are going to have some weakness in the coming days. Look at that. This used to be a support, and now we've reached that level. There could be a weakness already starting to manifest right over here. So be extra careful. I suggest if it does not break the 116 and you have volume starting to decline at this point, lock in some profit because we might be we might have a breakdown in price when it reaches the last support here. Pure gold, pure gold still on its selling spree. You had a slight bounce that happened, but it ended in a red candlestick. It filled the gap right away. So I think this now is on the verge of creating lower highs, which is, as I mentioned in the previous video, these are your components of a downtrend this time. The other stock was showing us higher highs. So that's an uptrend. This one is creating a lower high, so that's another example of a downtrend. So when it bounced over here and then the next bounce happened and it's much lower than the previous one, and this one around when it dipped, for example, this is your first dip or last dip in an uptrend, and when it dipped this time around it is lower. Okay, so if I'm to make a much cleaner drawing, you might have something that looks like this. Okay, so we're still not done with the downtrend for this stock. Let's see how it behaves around the nearest support that we have at the moment here, 43.45. It actually reached that level, right? So in case, who knows, it might extend up to here and then touches this level and then starts the sideways, because when it does that then we could have a possible breakout over here. But if this thing breaks down, then of course you have to plot another key level which is much lower than that. In the event it breaks the support, it could drop up to 41.21. Let's talk about Ali. Ali still doing sideways, but not looking good because we are now below the MA20 line. So downtrend might continue at this point. And let's see. For now, I see a support built around the 29.50 level. So if we'll just contain the movement within this descending triangle, then that's good. And then we just have to wait for it to break out of this downtrend. Then probably you can consider entering right there. So we don't know. 3 days, 5 days from now, or even in a day, it depends. We're so far in the Philippine market, we're very dependent on the movement from the institutions and foreign buying or foreign selling. They're the ones that really move the price. TEL, For TEL, looks like it manifested a possible bounce here, and yeah, around 1,300 level. However, just be extra careful because you have a short-term resistance at the 1,360. How much is that? That's just a good 4.86%. So let us see if it will continue to move higher or it will break the 1,300. Um, Now that we have a third telco, Vito, and then now, and then there's Converge, um, the interest of the market is now distributed to several stocks. Unlike before, you only have Tel, you only have Globe, who are dominating the telecom or the telecommunication industry. So there are a lot of competition now, which is I think a good one. At least looking at the consumers perspective, at least uh, they'd be on their toes to provide always good service because there are so many competition now. In the meantime, for investors, also good because there are a lot of promising stocks in the market that are way cheaper, where you can have you can buy more shares, and there's a growth potential. At this point, these are Tel, Globe, they're very stable, but imagine 1,300, you could already buy how many Dito, how many now stocks right there. MBT, okay, looks like it managed to, this used to be a resistance over here. So last day's performance confirmed that breakout, but there's another resistance nearby, which is around the 43.37. But overall, we're just starting our uptrend at this point. Oh, nice. There's foreign buying. So maybe what you can do, you can start accumulating. 39 level would be a good entry, right? March. This one. Feb. Maybe this is giving out twice a year. Who knows? 39.13. That's our support area. Just take note of the overbought level. So it might take, probably I'm thinking, it might take some time here. Accumulate first before it takes off fully. Just enough to bring this RSI back to the healthy level, like 50 to 70 area. Let's talk about nickel. Nickel ended red, but look, the selling is very, no, people are still holding on to their position. Look at that. When the price increased in volume, the price increased plus good volume over here. Last day's profit taking day was, I think, just 1/4 of the volume. So I'm thinking if the price continues to start probably much higher than 350, we might see the stock moving higher some more. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. This currently is a resistance area. We just need the stock to end much higher than 350. Otherwise, wait for it to probably retrace, haggle for a few cents between 309 to 350. That would already be a good haggle. Overall, this is still fine. Look at that. This used to be at the 9 peso level, in fact, back in 2016. So find your entry, time the market if you can. C on a decline but starting to show some bounce. I think this one over here, if I can remember it right, around the 5 peso level, 487, there was a support here. This one too. So there should be, let's see if it will continue to move higher or it will revisit your 489. That is a good support, or 506. It's an area. So try to see if you can haggle for a few more cents, or wait for it to, enter from between 5.06 to 558. Your call if you find this key level still as a promising area. So far, I think there is still future, considering that this too is related to, well, this is a logistics holding company, but because Dito, Third Telco, they're all connected. That's why um, the trend right now is that when Dito is higher or goes up, C is also going up. So there's a positive correlation there. BDO, still doing sideways, but we're still hanging on to our position because this stock is one of the more stable companies in the Philippine market. In fact, the business is still ongoing because they have online features whereby their um, clients are still able to do banking using online apps. So I think that's just a sentiment, market sentiment, because of course the economy is down. People are, number one sector that's affected right away is banking. GFC is also starting to show some bullish movements, and let us see if it will break the nearest resistance around 147 to 148, around that area, very near. But overall, still at a very, very cheap level, because at one point it even reached a 300 plus area. Foreign buying also happened, and recently they opened a branch. Imagine that. Amidst the pandemic, they opened a branch in Italy, very near the Vatican City. So that could also mean some good signs there in terms of cash flow for this company. Okay, I think that's it for this part. I'll see if I can record some more. So far, what I did here, we covered the most trending stocks in terms of the highly traded stocks from last Friday. So in my previous video, I talked about Dito, and then in this video, I talked about MRC all the way down to JFC. Okay, I hope you were able to get some pointers here in this video. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts, or if you have some requests, go ahead and drop a comment too. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell so you're always updated whenever we have new videos. Thank you, and bye bye for now.